Guys, do you know you could be taking part in the school fires that are currently unfolding in this country? Kidney, unaweza pata ingine. Ukipanga line refu na ukwe patient. But lung, if someone takes part in mob justice, are they a murderer? Because believe me when I say this, the law is very clear. Mob justice is illegal. It is a crime. I don't know. It kind of makes me miss Matiang'i in moments like this. Because guys, when Uhunye wekad Matiang'i and told him, my guy, we want to streamline this education thing. This guy, we could even see him on news going to schools. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of leadership needs to come back to Kenya. In this country, people complain. Aki, imagine there's no money. The economy is so tight. But you know where things are not tight? In the pocket of politicians. Especially 1 year to the election. When's the last time you did anything that really used up your free will? Ama you're sitting, living a life that's so timid, so rigid, that honestly, even as you live here, nobody will even remember anything you did because it just looks like everything else everybody did. Am I asking you to be weird? No. But why not?
This Saturday, I was at Ololua Forest where we were planting trees as Boxport TV. And guys, shout out to you. We planted 2,000 trees. Yeah, at Ololua Forest. Now, you're probably wondering, it's a forest, why are you planting trees? The forest usually has its own trees. You see what had happened was, during Moi's time, Moi's regime, in the 90s, and I don't know if it's 90s or 80s, somebody, just the way you're seeing right now is happening all over the country. Somebody just entered Ololua Forest and opened a quarry. A quarry for mining. So they usurped like 50 plus acres to set up a quarry. And so, of course, destroyed it. They dug deep and just destroyed this ecosystem of forest that is supporting quality of oxygen and air in Nairobi and water. You know, these small forests we have around Nairobi are the ones that are helping us with the coolness of the city, the oxygen, cleaning the air, and providing water. So what happened, we went there on Saturday. We had a good time. We did the call, Kapao Studios, Boxport TV, Green Generation Initiative. Shout out to PS Kimodo of Irrigation, who also joined us, and the MCA from the area, Gor, who, of course, joined us. This Ololua Forest is in Kajiado. 2,000 trees, guys. I mean, that's a feat, right? But it gets even better. By the end of this year, we're planning to do that 4 more times. So keep it right here, Boxport TV. Follow our channels, follow our socials so that you always know when it's happening, so that you don't ask us, I didn't know. Now you know, right? And then we're also going to put out a newsletter so that you know when we're doing these things, so that you can be a part of the community. Shout out to every boxer that came through, that shared my birthday, that planted trees with me, that helped me see this vision to life. I appreciate you. It's time for Run the Tape. A wonderful evening to you. I know you are watching me on your phone, Sasa. Kofiti, are you watching me like this or like this? Are you watching me like this on your bed? Or are you on your TV screen? Or are you on your tablet? Are you on your iPad? Wherever you are watching us, I appreciate you. Whichever part, whichever city, I appreciate you. Remember to hit the subscribe button, share, like, let your friends know that we are here on Boxport TV. And also, guys, let's run up the numbers. Come on now. Share so that more people can watch this show. And I've got a lot of awesome things for you in this episode. Let's start off with story number 1. It's a beautiful Wednesday, guys, and we're about to run the tape. If you don't know, this is when we check out all the rundown on the things happening in the continent and, of course, starting here in Kenya and the world. But first and foremost, we run the tape and then we get into the stories that I've put for you. So let's start by running the tape. It's Monday when we're recording this, and Monday is Mandamano Monday. And here is from former Chief Justice to the streets to Ndani facing justice. Run the tape.
Long live the park! Long live the park! Long live the park! Long live the park!
Yani. Guys. The guy, you're arresting Maraga. Guys, I think things are very hectic. Hata hajukupanda lori, my guy. This is so wild. In case you're wondering what he was doing on the streets, the civil groups and environmentalists have gone to the streets this morning to protest the annexing of Nairobi National Park. If you didn't know what is happening, allegedly, they have decided to create a parking lot inside the Nairobi National Park. They are moving the orphanage. They have said they're going to move it to a deeper part inside the park. But environmentalists are reading foul play and they're saying, Nyinyi munaiba park. And so they were having a funeral procession and they invited, of course, Maraga, who's also an environmentalist and loves this country. And what happened next? Police come, toof, tear gas. Because Monday, watu lazima wakule tear gas. You think I'm joking? Here is another protest because Monday, there's not just one protest. One protest is not enough. This is Kenya. 2 or more is enough. This is multimedia university students. Run the tape.
Wanafika! Kimya!
Dear guys,
Haya.
we were just requesting for the exam. Sasa huku hizi ndio tunapatana nazo. Yeah.
Wolan, are you seeing Popo? Guys, listen. I was supposed to be on the streets today, but unfortunately, this is the day that we record. And I was going for that protest for the environment because we love the environment. Now, we spent last Saturday planting 2,000 trees. And then you're hearing the environment is being messed. Anyway, when I'm looking at these guys who go for protests, sometimes like that guy is having a good time. But realistically, that's just a Kenyan making a good situation out of a terrible situation. Why have the exams been delayed? Why? The school is open, the students are there. Why are you delaying the exams? We'll find out. Anywho, here's another point that you need to know. When your friends tell you they want to follow you at Jobo, you should tell them time for kazi ni kazi. Because who is this guy? Able check this.
Nataka tuulize halmashauri ya mashule na sponsors ya shule. Kandin ambaye inawekwa kwa compound ya shule, mimi kwangu nataka kusema iondolewe kwa sababu ndio wenye kuuza viberiti, kuuzia watoto, kuchoma shule. Kama wasichana.
All right. Close the school canteen. Unasikia watu hii wanasema they're burning the schools down or closing the schools or protesting or unrest because food. Wakunja tawawezi karanga ho he ha he, and then your bestie who you've carried from wherever to come to Jobo with you is telling us what? That logic doesn't make sense. Guys, who in schools, like if you want to get things, do you get them from the canteen or you have a plug who brings them from outside? Anyway, on to other stories. You know what leadership looks like? Because we've been seeing schools burning left, right, center. People are just giving us, PSB Talk has been like,
I want to take this opportunity to assure our parents around the country that our schools are safe. 99.2% of our students are safe.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And schools are functioning well.
you guy, we are not closing the school. A few moments later, you guy, we are closing the school. And then the next minute, we're not going to. I'm like, bro, like, what kind of leadership is this? My guy, we haven't even seen the CS of education location. We haven't seen. Me personally, I haven't seen. But you know who I've seen talking about this in a way that makes sense for me? Matiang'i. Remember this guy was CS for education. Run the tape.
As a believer, that on that one issue, we can have whatever political differences we have or whatever it is, but on that one issue, and I hope His Excellency, our president, because we respect the Constitution and we have to respect the Constitution. William Ruto is our president under the law, and we have not suspended the Constitution. So I hope our president will see it as a genuine and sincere need for us to have an all-parties conversation on the education sector in the country. Because it's a crisis, and it is going to blow up sooner than we think. Because when you see the number of kids we are losing in school, 21 burning to ashes, 16 dead, and as my brother says, principals are not able to run schools, they have no money, and the cost is going through the roof, 110,000. We look at those fee schedules, I look at them, I have relatives, we are educating people.
All right. So he goes on to say, if it was him, he would have taken the budget for education. He would have focused on taking most of the budget to education and health, because that's where people are in trouble, right? Honestly, I don't know. It kind of makes me miss Matiang'i in moments like this. Because guys, when Uhunye wekad Matiang'i and told him, my guy, we want to streamline this education thing. This guy, like, we could even see him on news going to schools. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of leadership needs to come back to Kenya. So, you know how people are always online talking about, these kids, they are so indisciplined, right? Corporal punishment should be returned. Guys, corporal punishment is still here. Like, it never went anywhere. The only thing is that schools and teachers are kind of hiding it, but corporal punishment is here. You don't believe me? Run the tape.
I don't know what you are doing there. I heard you some or others.
Can you imagine? Sasa niulize guys. Let me ask you a question. Should kids be chapwad in school? Like, wasn't it banned in Kenya? When I was in school, in primary school, beating was normal. But then it was banned when I was in high school. But there's so many videos that are surfacing online of teachers beating. The other day, last week, I saw a video of a high school boy. High school. Msi akona Adam's apple. Base. Ndevu. Amelalishwa chini. In the staff room. Anapigwa kwa matako. That's crazy. In 2026? Listen, these are the things that are causing these students. These are some of the things, not the main thing, but these are some of the things that just make these kids just disrespect teachers. Why are you beating the child? Right? It's very clear. If the child is not following the rules of the school, send them home. But kumlalisha chini unamchapa kwa matako, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? If you're not aligned with me, weka kwa comment section. But I truly believe that beating people is inhumane and it is backward. Thank you. Guys, in this country, people complain. I can imagine there's no money. The economy is so tight. I have seen people literally walk. People who have cars, leave their cars at home, don't have bus fare, walk to work. Why? Because things are tight. But you know where things are not tight? In the pocket of politicians, especially 1 year to the election. Huku ni kusi, run the tape. Okay, look, guys, when I was watching this video, I honestly wanted to judge these women. I wanted to judge these people. But I'll tell you the truth. The state of this country, the poverty that people are facing, right? Mtu akikupatia pesa, chukua. Take the money. Put it in your pocket. Go and buy things. Support, eat, whatever you need to do. But when it comes to the election, be smart. Because you have to ask yourself this question. How are we in this dire situation that we are as a country? Because of the leaders we vote for. So all I'm reminding you, vote wisely. but eat the money. Go to those rallies, collect the t-shirt, collect the cash, all the goodies they're giving out, please take them. For t-shirt, I want to remind you that when you take someone's t-shirt, you're a walking billboard, right? So kama hauna nguo zingine, kwa sababu unajua watu wanachukuanga hizo t-shirts for political rallies because that's the only new thing they have. You know, in the village, me, I've done campaigns, I've done events where you're doing like a roadshow or an event somewhere in a village, and people come through and they're willing to fight for that t-shirt. So such things, I say, look, if it is moving you from, you know, a point of yani haukuwa na kitu yoyote, please take the money. Okay, economy ni tough, but your vote usiuzie mtu yoyote, vote wisely. And guys, this is very important. There's a reason why I tell you guys on Boxpod. Me, I always say, talk to your villagers at home, your relatives ushago, right? Because njaa isifanye uuze your vote. Haya, mwenye ako na masikio asikia. This week we saw a story that really shocked this nation, but I think shock is even the wrong word. I think Kenyans have been desensitized about murder. Kenyans have been desensitized about murder, killings, accidents, unaliving. Like, guys we're just rolling. Today you hear 3 people, 30 people, 10 people. Just now as I'm doing this report, I've gotten a report that in Philippines, an earthquake of a magnitude 9.8 has happened. Like every day you're just hearing killings and desensitizing. But in that desensitized space, I want to talk about something that's very important. I want to say we need to ban mob justice. Why? The story goes like this. In Machakos, 3 young men were attacked by the villagers and killed. And the family is saying that it was mob justice. Run the tape.
Charles Mutiso. It's very unfortunate that I came with Charles from Kiambu where I work. I came with him on Saturday, 6 p.m. He left to watch a ball and he never came back. I've been staying with him in Kiambu for all that time. He's my son. I know he's not a thug and he's innocent. What I demand is, I demand justice for these boys. Nothing else. The people who are carrying this investigation, we need less. What we need is justice for the 3 boys. We are neighbors, just neighbors. They have been born in this Machakos. They went to school to Machakos. They have grown together. Why would they be killed? We need answers.
So now, we don't know what exactly transpired. We're hearing from the family that are saying, sissy thugs, right? And we hear cases like this a lot. But what happened? The villagers, the people in Machakos, the area where they were, called them carjackers, right? And then proceeded to attack them as a mob and killed them, the 3 young men. Now here's the question. This is why I'm calling for banning of mob justice. Guys, right? You can't be the judge, jury, and executioner. What if there's something you don't know and you've taken part in killing somebody, right? There's so many stories of people who take part in mob justice and it turns out that the person they killed, imagine say, umekuja na hasira, because you're the one who's even carrying the stone to smash the person's head. I mean, seriously? First, we need to have a conversation with you. What's going on, bro? What's going on, sis? I've never seen women take part in mob justice, so I'm just going to talk to the men. Bro, what a guan? Kwanza kuna mwingine, you're watching me right now and you've taken part in more than one mob justice. Guy Fafa. Yeah? And we're not at any point going to call you a murderer? Okay. I'm going to finish off with this. If someone takes part in mob justice, are they a murderer? Or are they someone seeking justice in their own way? Because believe me when I say this, the law is very clear. Mob justice is illegal. It is a crime. And for you who, because usually think about it, I've had the most unfortunate opportunity of witnessing the start of a mob justice. I remember it was in CBD. I was in primary school and I'd gone to see my mom at her office and I ended up just chapping laps waiting for her. In the process, guys, there was a thug Someone just said Mwizi, the next thing there was a tire. Guys, I don't know where in Tao, I've never seen a spot in Tao where there are tires which have been put. I've never seen. But somehow there was a tire. Who had the kerosene? I don't know. The next thing, even people who are walking, unaona tu mtu na briefcase, unaona mtu na gazeti, he was like, he or she has come from an office, but they are there ready to ban this person. They don't know what the person did, but they're just scared to one word, Mwizi. How many times do people in Tao say that these thugs nowadays, when they're stealing your phone, what do they say? What tactic is being used? They come, they push you, they take your phone, then when you start, they turn to you and say, Mwizi. There was an incident, I think it was early this year or late last year, in Kawangware, where allegedly a story like this happened. A guy alibiwa simu, and then the thugs turned around and called him Mwizi. What happened next? The guys took the matters into their own hands and killed this person, allegedly. So you see me, I'm not talking to thugs. Well, thugs could be watching my show, change your life. But I'm talking to you who can be a potential thug. And I'm not talking about the one who'll go and steal the phone or commit the crime. No, I'm talking about the one who will do the mob justice. Because when we talk of mob justice, like I've explained, it's not a group of friends. It is a group of strangers who a spirit takes over them and they do the most heinous crime on earth. And then they go about their day. Huyo mtu mwenye who's lying next to you could have come from Tao. Unamuuliza hiyo nini ya red hapo ni nini? Atakwambia tu, kulikuwa na mwizi mwingine Tao mazee nimemtupia kimawe hivi kwa kichwa kichwa yake brain zake. Now that person is not looking at themselves like, I am a thug. I am a killer. Yeah. We need to ban mob justice in Kenya. Guys, Kenyan universities, I have a lot of questions. You who's in uni, that university of yours, are you concerned about that degree that you're taking? Because the list of top universities in Africa came out, and there was only one university from Kenya. One. Can you guess which one it is? Okay, I had you even from my sleep. The people from the University of Nairobi. Ushapatana na watu wa University of Nairobi. Guy! Braggadocious much, but we love it. Anyway, that's the only university that is recognized as a top university in Africa. So now, hizo zingine zinadu. You, the uni you are in, how you feeling? Do you feel like, so like, we, not even KU, JKUAT, these private universities, what's going on? Anyway, congratulations to to the University of Nairobi. All right, now before I get into my big stories, let me give you the quote of the day. And this one comes from the second most popular candidate, if he was to run for the president of Kenya in the next election. He's come from almost nowhere to be a contender. And this is not according to Boxport TV. This is according to, I think, Tifa, that said that Sifuna can give Ruto a run for his money. Anyway, this is what he had to say about the school, the Ebola incident. And it's our quote for the day. Run the tape.
Bora Ruto apewe pesa, anaweza kutuuza sisi wote kwa shetani mwenyewe. Unajua, wakati alipeleka polisi wetu Haiti, ilikuwa kwa sababu alipewa nini? Alipewa pesa, si ndio? Saa hii amepewa pesa na Marekani, wanamwambia, Marekani wenyewe wanasema, tunajua wale watu wako na hiyo ugonjwa wa Ebola ni watu wetu. They are American citizens. But they are not being allowed back into their own country. Because the American people need to be protected from Ebola. Then there is this character somewhere. Mwenye akipea 1.7 billion shillings, anasema leta hiyo watu.
And there you have it, guys. That's the rundown. Now let's get into the second segment of this show. Guys, do you know you could be taking part in the school fires that are currently unfolding in this country? If you don't know, For the past 2 weeks, Kenya has been at the grip of school unrest. There have been numerous schools that have been closed due to unrest. And this was all triggered by a school fire in a school called Utumishi Girls, where more than dozens girls died. I think 16, if I'm not wrong. And we've been trying to figure out, the country is reeling, trying to figure out what exactly should we do about the situation. Parents are here asking themselves deep questions. What did we do wrong? Like, is my kid safe in school? The teachers are having a tough time. They're saying they're underfunded. The classes are too packed. There's the principals who are also, giving their concerns. And then there's the Ministry of Education. And then there's the government that has to curb it because it could get out of hand. But again, I go back to my point. Do you know that you could be taking part in enhancing or making this situation worse? Oh, you're wondering why or how? There's something called the Wafa effect. And this happened in 1774, the first time it happened. So what had happened? A guy wrote a book. The name of the book is The Sorrows of Young Wafa. And so this Wafa guy, basically, he was in love with someone. It was unrequited love. And because he was denied, he unalived himself by shooting himself. Now, follow me. So after, what happened next? Remember, this is 1774. Guys don't have screens. So these books are the an author of a book is the influencer of back in the day. Characters in books are the movies of back in the day, right? So this is like a series, okay? So a bunch of young people are reading this book, and they're unaliving themselves because of what they're reading in this book. So what they would experience if they experience rejection, they would unalive themselves by shooting themselves. So this was so popular that it became banned. It was happening, it was recurring over and over again. And that's what we call the Wafa effect. We've seen it in school shootings. One shooting happens, and what happens next? They end up having copycats. We've identified this. There was an op-ed that was done in the Nation, in the Daily Nation in 2020 by the editor. And he highlighted and said that this school unrest could be exacerbated by how the media covers the story, right? And that's where the Wafa effect is. Now I'm coming to you. Now this is where you play a part. You see, in 2020, the issue was newspapers, TVs, But now we have every single person is a reporter. Every single person is posting, reposting, sharing what blogs are saying, unfounded reports, exacerbating the story of there's a school burning, there's another school burning. Now, hear the story. When one student who's seated in one school, who is also feeling some type of way about their school, they turn and look, they say, oh, okay, there's 5 schools that are burnt. You've even highlighted, you guys, there's this one, another one. It's like a movie. And so for the kids, it influences them to do something, to join the fray. And what we're seeing is a lot more students. In fact, here is students from Agoro Sare. Right after this past weekend, after they're watching other schools burning, right? They're in school, they're not allowed devices. So how are they watching? They decide, we cannot be in school. And so they burn down the school and leave. And when the students are asked, kwani what was going down? This is what the students said. Maze woni alliance tunaambia prinsi maze. Alliance wako home. Alliance wako home. Sini nani? Sini Agoro Sare tuko shule na index number 1 ako nyumbani. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the Wafa effect. These kids, because of what they saw other kids doing, they're like, even us, we can leave. So why am I telling you this story? Because media understands this. And so if you watch how the media covered this story, they were very delicate on what they could say and what they couldn't say. But the blogs, on the other hand, it was free for all. You could say whatever, you could post whatever, even unfounded reports. Even as we're speaking right now, there's more videos and pictures being shared. So why am I telling you this story? Because you can do better. Because just imagine, if you were the reason that kid went and burnt down that school because they saw your post, what would you do? acid attacks. Oh my God. I can't believe that I'm talking about acid attacks in 2026. If you didn't know, back in the day, acid attacks were a thing, right? Here in Kenya, they were so popular. People would, like, there are people who you're looking at right now, they're in their maybe 50s, right? Now, unaona wameungua pahali. Imagine the acid. And it was about couples and relationships in the 90s. 80s and 90s. Acid ilikuwa kitu maze. Uliza mzae hapo mwenye amekana gazeti sasa na watch Boxport TV. Muulize. Yeah? But acid attacks are back. In just a span of 6 weeks, we have seen a spike in acid attacks, which have led to death. There was a lady who had a tattoo of the president on her, under her clavicle. Clavicle. And someone doused her in acid for whatever reason, right? Guys, acid. Well, I know you did chemistry, but if you didn't have a school lab, najua kuna shule zingine hamkuwa na school lab, so wacha niwaambie, acid attack is not a small thing. So what I feel like in Kenya, there's like 6 million ways to kill a woman. Tuambiane tu kweli. Let's just be honest. People are trying to invent ways on how to kill women and children. You know, children have also entered the nini. Hey, munatumada. Ama we split this country half. Women sit on this side, men sit on this side. Mumadane alafu sasa wenye wamebaki, mwanze kuingia one by one. Because at this rate, you'll finish us. Anywho, I'm not talking about femicide. I want to talk to the ladies, right? Because imagine someone just douses you in acid. You know, it's not something you'll prepare for because you can't see it. It's sprayed. Anyway, I didn't think I needed to do this, but it's important that we do this. If ever you're attacked by acid, this is what you need to know. First things first, you start rinsing the spot where the acid has mwagikad with water, all right? Large amounts of clean water as soon as possible. Number 2, you need to flush it for at least 20 to 30 minutes. So keep pouring the water on that spot for so long. And then do not stop because the pain has improved. Imagine that's not what happens. The acid is still digging. Acid does not stop. It eats all the way, all right? So make sure you do not stop improving until even if the pain is improving, continue to irrigate it as you seek help, right? If you've got clothes on, right? Like, let's imagine someone has, guys, Monday, munaona kazi zenye munatufanyisha? Are you seeing what the fuck you're making us do? You're making me sit on a podcast to educate women about what to do if they're attacked by acid. And you guys think that this thing is not serious? We tell women, find the right outfit to wear. Don't be slutty. Don't go out at night. Now I'm teaching us how to protect ourselves in the event that acid is poured on us. And if you're about to say not all men, just switch off this TV and go home. Or you're watching from home, it's okay, continue watching. Anyway, so ladies, as I was saying, so if you're wearing an outfit, if you have clothes on, right? Of course, you're going to have clothes. Okay, I don't know. If you have clothes on, remove the clothes, the ones that have acid on them. Why? Because the acid will continue to, so reduce the contaminated clothing and jewelry, and then protect your eyes, okay? If the chemical got into your eyes, continue to rinse. Water is your friend. So the first thing, acid, don't panic, right? Of course, you're going to panic. We're going to scream and run around, right? I'm assuming because that's how we do emergencies. But this could save your life. So find the immediate spot where you can get water, rinse that spot, rinse. And even if you're feeling like the pain is subsiding, don't stop. As you're seeking medical attention, do not try to neutralize the acid. Kuna watu watakwambia, leta maziwa, sijui nini. No, don't neutralize the acid. You could create another chemical reaction. So focus on just trying to rinse the product or whatever has been poured on you off your body. And finally, if you have inhaled or swallowed, this is what you need to know. move to fresh air, because it could be fumes, right? The acid is in different forms. It could be liquid and it could be in fumes. So move to a place that has clean air and start aerating yourself. Not only that, if you've swallowed, seek emergency contact immediately, right? And do not induce vomiting, right? Unless instructed by a medical professional or poisons expert. So if the person has given you poison, for example, usi, don't try and throw up, just first seek medical emergency ASAP. I hope this will help. But more importantly, I hope that we never find ourselves in such a situation. They're talking about banning shisha, guys. Yeah, and I've seen all your comments. I've seen guys saying, oh, we need to find better things to discuss. Is that the most pressing issue? Oh my God. Guys, if you see the stats of tobacco and respiratory infections because of smoking, you'd be the first one. You just imagine a 25-year-old's lung collapsing because they are smoking shisha. Yeah, I know you've had the data. 1 puff of shisha is like 3 cigarettes, right? You just like hanging out in places where shisha is being smoked. You know, imagine si smoking. Napenda tu yani, si Jonte anapendanga tu hang out tuko. So, huko ndio tunaenanga. Sis. Yeah. You who's inhaling secondhand shisha, you are smoking 3 cigarettes. Right? Because shisha is hectic. Worse still, we're talking about vapes. Vapes in this country, I was just talking to a doctor and she was saying, if we could talk about the stats, especially about preteens and adolescents who are consuming this product, ni kama ni chewing gum. Guys, what happened to just eating a lollipop and chilling? Now kids are vaping. And that's why the vape smells like lollipops. I don't know if you're seeing the connection. Yeah, if you're an adult vaping, Mege, I don't want to judge you, but strawberry. Hey! Omera, that thing they made for toys. Can you imagine? They are focusing on kids, right? Anywho, so Kenya is again having the conversation about banning shisha. So what happened? What was the problem? Why did we end up here? Right? So you see how we create laws. We create laws and then we don't define things clearly. And that's why we banned shisha. And now we have to come again and do public participation to ban it again. So I decided to do some research. So I'm going to just read for you some stats here. All right. So 2017 is when we banned shisha. If in case you're wondering, when was that conversation? Even today, I've just seen someone who was shot in Kisumu because they were doing a shisha crackdown, which the courts keep saying is illegal because the terminology of what shisha is not clear. So 2017 was when we outlawed shisha in Kenya. So the ban covered use, import, manufacture, sale, promotion, distribution of the product, right? This was under the Public Health Act. This is in Hunyes Gava. Then 2018, the court drama began. Business owners and vendors, you know those places you like to go sit down where you're finishing your lungs. Where, do you know how many 21-year-olds, 25-year-olds are in hospitals with collapsed lungs? Lung. Skiza. Kidney, unaweza pata ingine. Ukipanga line refu na ukue patient. Kama 7 years hivi. But lung, 25. Where are you going? You know? Yeah, and this is why we're talking about banning the product. Because look, there's a lot of... When we were young, when we were kids, cigarettes used to be advertised on TV. Like, guys, it was wild west. Unawasha TV, unaona mtu anasema, as smooth as embassy. Anavuta cigarette. Smoking on TV. It was normal. Even the TV shows. TV shows, you're there seated, the guy smoking, the baby smoking, everybody smoking. So it leaves an imprint in, if you check millennials, right? Millennials smoke a lot, right? But now they're the ones who have switched to vapes so that they can cope with smoking. Guys, vapes, it's been confirmed. Vapes doesn't help you reduce your smoking. In fact, it's becoming even more dangerous for you. So I've been there. Quit. Just go cold turkey. So shisha had reached a place where we had banned it, but the dens, the places, you know those places that is sijui shisha joint, sijui nani, sijui the space for shishaing. I don't know what this shisha joints. I don't go to places where they sell shisha. Those people went to court in 2018 after we have come the Ministry of Health, the public health actors come out and said, this product is really, really dangerous. Please don't allow it to be legal in your country. And they came up with a whole report and then passed it as a law. Kidogo, kidogo. The places you go to smoke went to court and said, aye. And some people who sell products, I'm not going to mention because I don't want to be sued. Do you think about who are some of the big, like bat big, right? Who are selling you some of these tobacco products? Because at the end of the day, you have to remember this stuff is nicotine, and nicotine is highly addictive. So they went to court. They told guys, no. This thing, it's costing us billions. You guy, it's unconstitutional. It's costing them billions. No, this thing is safe. It's safe for Kenyans. No, it's costing us billions. My get got to invest. Tushaletezi mashisha hapa. Sasa nani atakule shisha? So the thing was, court drama. It was left to parliament approval. There was loopholes. 2024. Raids, court battles, since 2023. They've just been going, raiding, and guys are like, this stuff is illegal because in the law, it's not quite clear about what exactly shisha is. So, 2026, right? We're doing it properly. The court ruling is back. It's back in the news. And the government is essentially saying, let's do public participation. They want to ban this. They want to prohibit shisha smoking and water pipe tobacco products. And they're inviting Kenyans to submit their views. Now, I've already seen your views in the comment section. Guys are like, oh my God, there are bigger issues in Kenya. Na venye shisha inanukanga fiti. Sa shisha imagine. Na venye inapita. Maji yenyewe hata ni safi. Weangalia maji hapo. Langzangu safi. Moshi yenye natoka safi. Zika mist. So, imagine miss me with it. Sis. Ile siku yenye lang yako ita collapse. You'll be the first one in public participation. Anyway, all I'm saying is that's what's happening. I think it's important. And I'd even done more research to find out vapes versus shisha. Before I tell you the truth, which one do you think is more dangerous, vapes or shisha? Shisha. By sheer amount of smoke. But not that vapes are any better, right? So the science is not quite clear. But me, I would tell you, just stop smoking these things. So, ni hayo tu. The one argument the one thing that convinced me that shisha is trash. If it's not your own hookah, there are people who tell you they're social distancing. If you have a cough, they'll tell you, stay away from me. But they'll walk into a shisha joint and take a hookah that was being smoked by 70 people yesterday, right? And just put it. Do you know you can get things like herpes from shisha? Herpes. Herpes. Ile nye itokangi. Ile ya permanent. And so many other things. Infectious diseases. Because you're there like, ata Ebola. You can get Ebola, my guy. Right? So, but for ladies, this is what I want to say. I think the funniest thing I've ever seen is a babe who says, moshi ya jiko. Like if you tell her to wash her jiko, she'll be like, oh my God. Imagine moshi inani affect my carbon monoxide. Like you put her in the shisha joint. She's looking like an exhaust pipe for an engine for a train. It's crazy. The amount of smoke coming out of her is like, girl, hiyo sini chako. You're just smoking the chako. Ama? Anyway, hiyo ni maisha yako. I don't even know how to tell you this story, but all I'm saying is, in this world, you have to ask yourself a question. Are you really using your free will? Like, is there anything you're doing that is just, wewe mwenyewe umejiambia, I'm going to do this, right? Or everything you're doing, you've been conditioned. No, stick with me, guys, stick with me. The one thing that human beings have over in this life, after God created us, He gave us instructions. If you're a Christian, I don't know what other faiths believe. I'm giving this example. And then when He finished, He told guys, these are the rules, but you have free will, you decide. And then tutapatana hapo mwisho we examine. So every human being here on earth, you and me included, we have free will. You can choose to do anything that your will decides. But then human beings, of course, will catch you on what is legal and not, and then they'll tell you about freedoms and whatnot. But remember, it's God who put you on this earth, depending on what you believe in. So your free will, at any point, you can decide to exercise it. But I feel like some of us, we don't even use our free will. Like, really ask yourself, what's the last time you did something that was out of the ordinary? If you're about to tell me I went hiking, shut up. So I'm talking about this. Run the tape.
You speak English, German, and Nay.
Yes.
Can you teach us some Nay?
Yes. What would you like to say?
I'd like to say, hello, my name is Annie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know how to do that. Can you
In
try?
fact, why don't we get Horse Girl to look down the camera and tell everybody to listen to Horse Girl on Sidetracked in Nay. Take it away whenever you're ready,
I don't
Horse
know how
Girl.
to translate sidetrack.
Maybe we can put
I have to maybe say
transcripts.
sidetrack,
Yeah.
just like in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Okay.
Sidetrack.
Wonderful, thank you. Horse Girl, thank you so much, Horse Girl!
And I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing at you. A babe has gone and she's now a horse. She's multilingual. English, Dutch, and Nay. She speaks horse. And she's not horsing around. This is a real thing. She's called Horse Girl. This is her lifestyle. And she's not alone. There's many people who identify as animals. Yes. Animals. They dress up. I've forgotten what they're called, but there are people who walk on this earth. They dress like now that's her get up. When she leaves the house, she's a horse girl. She speaks horse, Nay, English. And so depending on who she meets, she'll switch up the lingo. Guys, I want to go back to how I started this story because, I know someone will say hizi ni vitu za wazungu, but there are Africans who are doing some amazing stuff, who are really exploring their free will. Me, I want to ask you, when is the last time you did anything that really used up your free will? Ama you're sitting, living a life that's so timid, so rigid, that honestly, even as you live here, nobody will even remember anything you did because it just looks like everything else everybody did. Am I asking you to be weird? No. But why not? That's where I'm going to run the tape. You let me know what you think about the stories. And we're going to end it here.